Peace and joy, guys. Welcome back to another video, Drumheller Farms. And today, well, you've guessed it, the chicks are in. Stick around the video here today, guys. I'm going to show you how to brood chicks. Now, if you've never done this before, maybe this is your first time, maybe you're going to raise 10 or 20 birds just for yourself and your family, or maybe you're going to do like we did and raise 1,500 birds your first year. Whatever it is that you plan on doing with your pastured poultry operation, stick around. I think you're going to learn something, and we'll show you how we're brooding chicks here on Drumheller Farms. Let's go. It's pretty important that when you get these chicks home, you get them under lights and you get water in them pretty quick. Now, my hatchery that I'm ordering birds from, that's Town Line Hatchery, they're out of Zeeland, Michigan. So they're, as a crow flies, probably about an hour and a half west of me. Being that close to me, sometimes it still might take a day or two to get those birds from them to me. So it's important that when you get your birds home, you're not messing with them. You know, get them in the brooder, get them under a light, get them in some water, and leave them alone. That's pretty much the rule I go by. Now, like I've said a million times, and I'm going to say it again, do not trust these clamps in your brooder. These clamps will fail you, okay? When you're setting up new lamps, you want to make sure that you have your cord, that it's secured to the lamp, and then what I use is a contractor's clamp, all right? And what I do is I clamp that right onto my little trellis system that I have running in this brooder, all right? Well, don't do it like that. All right, I got the waters installed with water in them. Now, these waters are just temporary at this point. I like to introduce them with these waters, and then I will bring the Plasson Auto Water in, and I'll hang it from the ceiling, and it'll be right over this board right here. Now, why I don't start with the Plasson? A lot of times we'll have a Plasson in here to start with, and I will also add a few of these just in case, because anybody that has had experience with Plasson Auto Waters, you know that there's a dialing in process, okay? You play with that for a little while to get it to, you know, shut off and start where you kind of want it to, all right? These that I have in here right now are foolproof. You know, you're really never going to do anything that's going to disturb these. These are never going to not put water out. And the last thing you want to do with new birds is not have water for them. So that's essentially why I always put these manual waters in here for new birds, even along with the Plasson when I get that thing in here, which I will be introducing that Plasson as soon as this weather fully breaks and it isn't getting down below freezing at night, which hopefully will be here in the next week or two. I got all the lamps installed, okay? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 heat lamps. That might be a little excessive, but this is a big brooder, guys. There's plenty of room for them to get out of the light. And it is getting down into temperatures of the high 20s still. There's extra light for them to get under if they need to. And if they don't need it, there's plenty of room for them to get out of it. Right now, let's go down to the grain bin site. Let's grab some feed and get their feeders set up. I'll be ready for some chicks. All right, we're going live. There it is. Brooders live. All right, we're down at the grain bin site again. This is full of chick grower inside there, and this is our overflow bin. So I'm going to start with this, get this one emptied first. Ooh, that'll be plenty for a couple days with these things. Guys, it's windy again. I don't know what it is, but it has been windy for about a week straight. Let's go get some chicks. All right, guys, these are a Cornish cross meat bird. Same principles of what we're going to learn today are going to apply in really any bird that you brood. I am going to walk through the brooder when we're done, talk about some features of it and things you'll need to know before you start building your brooder. Right now I've got the chicks ready to be put in here. And one thing you're going to want to do, at least what I do, is I like to count every bird that I put in here. I like to know how many that I ordered, how many that they sent me, how many I lost in the brooder. I'll count them again when I put them on pasture, and that'll tell me how many I lost inside the brooder. And then I'll count them again before processing day so that I know how many I'm taking in for processing, and also how many did I lose total. Now that's a figure that you think that you might just, oh, I'll be able to keep track of it. But when you're raising 225 birds a whack, believe me, you're going to easily miscount how many birds you actually have. I like to set me up a nice comfortable little chair or something in here. I got a little swivel bucket, and get a water nearby you, because we want to dip every single beak of every chick in the water. Introduce them to the water, know what the water is, so that once they get out of this cardboard box that they've been in for the last couple days, they can immediately find water and start hydrating themselves. So get comfortable, because this process takes the most time right here. There they are. Every one of them is alive in this half of the box. So I like to grab them like this, and I use my index finger to dunk their beaks in the water. 1, 2, 3. Now guys, you kind of have to be aggressive about dunking their beaks. Don't be afraid to get your hand behind their head and dunk their beak in the water. This is an important step, introducing them to water. Remember, these chicks don't have a mother hen. You are their mother hen. They don't know what water is. They've never seen it before. They don't know how to drink it until you dunk their beaks in there and show them how to drink the water. And if you take a look at these ones, they're already drinking the water that I just dunked their beaks in. 1 box down, 2 more to go. I had 78 in the first box, 0 deaths. All right guys, let's talk brooder. How big of a space do you need for your birds? Well, for me, I'm raising 200-300. I'm brooding 200 or 300 at a time. So what my space needs might be different than what your space needs. The important thing is you're going to want to have each bird to have its own room with a good ventilation. You can see, even though it's cold outside, I've got good ventilation going throughout this trailer. Why did I choose a stock trailer to brood my chicks in? Well, first and foremost, I picked a stock trailer because I didn't want to take up room in any of our outbuildings or barn or basement of the house, which isn't a good idea with this many chicks, to brood constantly throughout the year. So every single month we're raising somewhere around 150 to 225 birds. Currently, we have 167 birds in there right now between turkeys and chickens. What is very convenient about this stock trailer is when it comes time to put these things out on pasture, all we have to do is hook up to it with our side-by-side and take them right out to their tractors and to put them on pasture. Another thing I like about it is I can dictate where I want this. So currently I've been raising them underneath this tree and on the other side of this garage, which is on the north side of the garage, so it doesn't get all that sun in the summer. This thing doesn't become a big hot box for them. Another thing that I always do is I always make sure that this is away from any structure. Let's face it, heat lamps, although I've never had a problem and I go the extra mile to make sure that they are secured and not going to fall off of those trellis system that I have up there, there's always the chance that something could happen, something could knock down, and you could have a fire. And the last thing I want to do is burn half my house down because I was brooding chicks too close to the house or the garage or one of the pole barns. So that's the nice thing. I always keep it away out of any chance of having an issue of sorts. Another thing that's nice about this is I keep this on the back side of the house. This is not where we walk. This is not where we hang out. In the dead middle of summer, when you're raising 200 plus birds a month, this thing's gonna start to stink. We do wash this thing out, or I should say, clean the bedding out in between each batch. Some people will build on the same bedding over and over throughout the year, and then that makes it a serious pain in the butt to clean it out when it comes time to clean it out. So we always clean it out in between each batch. So here's what they look like, guys. I see a little bit of huddling going on underneath that light. I'm not super concerned about that because the majority of them are running around, scattered about, running to the light, coming back, running to the light, coming back, and they're very, very active. And that's what you want to see. You want to see your chicks running around like these guys. They're not anywhere close to the lamp. They're scurrying about. They run over to the lamp, get warm, run back out of it. Anytime, if you've seen a whole batch of birds very lazy, not moving, you know, chances are you've got some sick birds there. Not one death. I don't know if that's ever happened, maybe one time. You know, to ship 267 birds and not have one of them inside there that has passed away, I would say Town Line, you're doing a great job. Keep it up, whatever you're doing. I know people have told me they've had issues with Town Line, you know, years ago. I've never had one issue with Town Line. I've had people that I know that ordered birds out of Missouri because they got a good deal and whatever, and then they showed up and only one of them was alive. And I'm like, what are you doing ordering birds, you know, 6 states away when we've got a hatchery, you know, within 2 hours from our farms? So, you know, just because somebody has the best deal doesn't mean that they're always the best person to order from. I've been very happy with Town Line, and as of this point, I see going nowhere else. Another thing I'd like to say is chicks are very susceptible to a lot of things. Noise, you know, thunderstorms can kill them. They can pile up in corners, and they can kill each other. You'll notice I don't have any 90-degree corners in this brooder. Everything is rounded. That's because anywhere there's a 90-degree corner, chickens will tend to pile up on one another, and then the ones on the bottom will become trampled and die. So if you have a brooder, stay away from the 90-degree corners because there's a chance you might have an issue with that. Another thing I always address when we're talking about brooding chicks, you know, if you have kids around your homestead, and of course, baby chicks, they're very cute. They make a cute little noise. It's very hard to resist holding them. I always tell people, put them in your brooder. Make sure they have water. Make sure they have their heat lamps. and leave them alone. It's good to monitor them for a while to make sure that your lamps are at the right setting. I've done this enough times that I'm kind of got that part figured out. Even now that I'm watching the ones that have cuddled or huddled underneath a lamp, they've run away and scattered out and then come back. That's what you want to see. And it's gonna be hard to let the kids not go in there and hold them and do that kind of thing. So what I would say is this: let them hold them, let them do whatever they want with them, put them in the brooder, make sure they got water, make sure they got light, and leave them alone. Come back in a little while and check on them. The other thing I always do is I always put a fresh scoop of soil in their coop. And what I think that does is I think it acts as a natural antibody. If you have access to biochar, biochar is something else that I would add in there for the first week of the chicks' lives. I find that soil works really well too. They tend to scrape through it, scratch through it, eat it, and I think it's good for their all-around immunity system. All right, guys, well, I'm going to take my own advice. I got them in the brooder, I got them water, I got them heat. I'm going to leave them alone. I got 2 bids that are a little ways away, so I'm going to go there. I'll be back to the farm probably another 3 hours or so. I'll check on them before I leave, and I'll check on them when I get home. Other than that, if you have any questions about brooding chicks, put them down in the comment section. I hope that I answered as many as I could have already and didn't forget anything for you, but if I did, go ahead and put them in the comment section and follow along on the channel. In 3 weeks, roughly, these guys are going to be out on pasture, and we're going to be getting a new batch. So if you want to stick around, learn how to raise pasture chicken yourself, pastured poultry, because we got turkeys in there as well. You know, stick around the channel, see how we do it, see our tractor setup, see how we move chickens, see what we feed them. And you know, it's very, very easy. I encourage everybody that can do this. Maybe you're saying, I don't have a farm, I don't have a large piece of land. If you've got an acre yard, you can do this. If you have a half-acre yard, you can raise enough chickens for you and your family very, very easily. I don't care if you live in town. This is the largest amount of noise these things are going to make. When they get older, they don't make any noise. And by the time the township finds out what you're doing, you're already going to have those things to processor, and they're going to be in your freezer, and there's nothing they're going to do about it. So like, subscribe to the channel, comment if you have any questions. I appreciate you guys watching. God bless. All right, guys, well, I just got back from my bid and we lost power. This has not happened to me before with chicks. They're huddling up, they're getting cold, so I need to get them some power. So I've got everything on generator backup, so it's just gonna take me a minute to get everything hooked up here. This is a good example. You better have a backup plan, which we do because we have a lot of freezers. Another thing my neighbor always told me, he never puts the generator away empty, which makes perfect sense because last thing you want to do is go pull your generator out and you ain't got no gas in it. Oh yeah. Sorry, Boyds. Well, I didn't expect that, but it's a good lesson. Be prepared. You can see those guys over there are cold. They are very cold. They're huddled up. And So are these guys. They just need to find the rest of the lights. And they can kill themselves like that because they trample one another. Once they figure out these other lights are on, they already see how they're starting to move away, so they're already figuring it out. That's good. Well, I've got several other generators to hook up. I got the well for the cattle, but before I get too crazy hooking up 3 other generators, I'm gonna see how long they say the power is gonna be out for. If I can get any kind of accuracy out of that. If it's saying the power is gonna be restored pretty quick, I probably won't even worry about it. All right, well, they're telling me 9:30 p.m. but I don't know if I believe it. We've had a lot of strong wind, and it seems like anytime the wind blows, we're out of power, which is ridiculous. It's a good thing I got a brand new generator, ultra quiet. I'm gonna get that thing assembled. All right, let's see how the old Predator 9500 works here. Not bad. Now it's time to get the farm finished, taken care of. Yeah, around this neighborhood, it's a race to see who can get their generator fired up first. So, you know, I just like to turn my lights on, my Eve lights, and just let everybody know, hey man, I got power. You got it yet? I got Miss Drumheller Farms with me today. We're gonna have to do chores. Your hat's on a little bit. And get power out here to the rest of the farm. So the house is taken care of, the freezers, the chicks, all that side of the farm's taken care of. We're gonna fill up water out here for the cattle. All right, well, is there a cord in here?
I don't think there is.
God bless it.
Yeah, it is.
See?
Wrapped up where it goes.
I'll tell you, when you got it figured out, you got it figured out. You know what I mean? I mean, this is not.
Let me get you a little lift here.
Keep pulling. All right. Let me tell you what, guys, when you got it figured out, you got it figured out. And we got it figured out. This isn't our first rodeo.
Where's the cleanup crew?
Huh?
Where's the cleanup crew?
Hey, grab that cord, will you, in there? I made those cords specifically for this.
You read the instructions like I told you?
We figured it out. 49. Woo-wee, she's a dandy. Low to the ground, good gut capacity, nice rear end on her. Power's on already. Appreciate you watching the video. Hit that subscribe button. Stick around. God bless.
Peace and joy.